And just so folks have an idea of the intention for the physical body for tonight's practice, I'm really focusing on the hip flexors and thighs as well as the thoracic spine. So we'll do a lot to open through the front of the body, and then we'll be doing various twists, none of which will be upright. So I don't know why I just did that, but we will be getting into the thoracic spine. Yeah, okay, it is 7 o'clock. Again, I've placed a playlist in the chat. Feel free to hit play now. Should you decide to start playing, I just ask that you mute, and we're gonna start with a meditation. So we're actually gonna start seated, even though most of our practice will be done down on the mat. If your hips are tight, if your low back is tight, you're welcome to take a blanket and just slightly elevate the hips, sitting right on the edge of the blanket so the pelvis can tilt just slightly forward. My name is Caroline. This is Yin Yoga. For those of you who are newer to Yin, after our opening meditation this evening, we're going to come into a series of postures. We'll be holding each posture for about 3 to 5 minutes. The goal is to hold the postures in complete stillness, or as close to complete stillness as possible. I'll offer meditations and ways to keep the mind nice and quiet, which will hopefully aid the body in staying still. And from the perspective of the physical body, the theory behind the 3 to 5 minutes is that over that period of time, holding stillness where the connective tissue on one side of the joint is being stretched, on the other side it's being compressed, we start to get into the deepest connective tissue, specifically our fascia, and some of the fascial adhesions start to, more space is created in our densest connective tissue. I will offer sort of varying levels of depth in several of the postures. The goal is to come into the posture deep enough that you feel sensation, but not so deeply that you're not going to be able to hold it for 3 to 5 minutes. So if you're newer to the practice, it's often more of an art than a science, and we're just going to feel our way through. I'm going to always encourage maybe to go a little less deep if you're new than you might otherwise think, and then in time you can soften further and further into a posture. I'd rather that than you come in really deep and then have this big reaction where you like throw yourself out because the sensation is so intense. So just some basic background information. So for the meditation, we're going to start in a cross-legged seat, and I'm going to invite you to switch the cross of your legs. If you're already in that cross-legged seat, most of us have a habitual cross to our legs. And we're just going to cultivate the opposite. So switcheroo with the legs. We're going to do Nadi Shohana for our breath this evening. So you'll take your right hand, your peace fingers are going to come to your forehead, your third eye, and then you're going to place your thumb and your ring finger just to the sides of the nostrils, and you're going to place it so that you're sort of able to press with the fingertips down. We don't want to press down on either side to start. And I'm just going to have you, with the peace fingers on the forehead, just take a couple easy breaths in and out through the nose, putting no pressure on the nostrils, just breathing in and emptying out. Maybe eyes start to close. Allow yourself to turn inward, becoming a little more aware of the mind, the body. And then I'll have you, with your right thumb, go ahead and press gently into the right nostril ring finger is lifted over the left. Take a deep breath in through the left nose. It's a gentle filling up. And then at the top of the inhale, plug that left nostril, release the right, breathe out through the right. At the end of the exhale, gently breathe in through the right nostril. Plug that nostril, open up the left, gently release. Breathing in through the left. Plug that nostril, release the right, gently breathe out. Inhale in through the right. Plug the nostril, gentle release through the left. Inhale left. Plug the left nostril, exhale right. Keep this going. As you breathe in, think about getting taller through the crown of the head. As you exhale, let the shoulders soften. Breathing in left. Plugging left nostril, breathing out right. Breathe in right. Plug the right, breathe out left. Adding in a retention here. As you take your next breath in through the left nostril, hold the breath in at the top, plug that left nostril shut. And after a few counts, release the right, breathe out through the right. Breathe in right. Plug the right nostril, retain the breath in the body. Gently breathe out left. Inhale left. Plug and hold. Exhale. Inhale right. Plug and hold. Exhale left. Last full cycle here. Breathing in left. Plug and hold. Exhale right. Inhale right. Plug and hold. And exhale, release. And then release the hands down to the knees. Take a deep breath in through both nostrils. Maybe you hold that breath at the top. And then exhale, release that out through both nostrils. Breathing in through both nostrils, grow a little taller through the crown of the head. As you exhale and release, allow the shoulders to get a little bit softer. 2 more breaths, just like this. Let the breath be easy. Try not to force the inhale or the exhale. And then go ahead and let the chin drop to the chest. Eyes can stay closed. gently draw the chin from one shoulder to the other. And take the chin side to side a few more times. And then the next time the chin passes through the center of the chest, pause there. Gently lift the head up as you slowly blink the eyes open. Take a couple shoulder rolls here. And maybe a couple deep breaths. Just checking in with how you feel. Perhaps you'd like to set an intention or dedication for your practice today. That could be as simple as just identifying a quality of being that you'd like to embody for the duration of the practice or the duration of your evening. You're welcome to place hand over heart, other hand over heart, and turn inward to set that intention. And then after you've set your intention, I'll invite you to come to your belly for our first posture. So we're going to start with half frog. No props are needed for this one. You'll come to your belly and we're going to start with the right leg. Just nice and easy. Lift that knee up so it's at hip height. And then reach that knee away from you just to feel a little stretching sensation in the front side of the pelvis on the right side, maybe into the groin. And we're going to place the forehead on the hands here and just rest here for a couple of minutes. As far as sensation goes, there's probably not a ton of sensation in this shape. We're easing into the sensation. So maybe you find it a little easier to drop into stillness here. And as you come into your shape, as you make your way into stillness, I'll invite you to come back to the breath, breathing in through the nose. You're welcome to send the breath out through the nose or mouth. And I invite you to visualize the breath traveling down the back of the body. As you breathe in, send the breath to those low ribs in the back of the body and feel that part of the back body widening out left to right. With each exhale, allow the pelvis to get just a little bit heavier. On your exhales, you're also welcome to check in with the shoulders. And you allow the shoulders to soften a little further away from the ears. Similarly, can you bring your attention to your jaw and use the exhales to help you soften a little more through the jaw. Really feeling the way the body and the breath interact, the expansiveness of the breath as you inhale, the way the body softens and comes together on the exhale. Maybe you think about reaching that right knee just a little further out, creating a little more sensation through the front side of the right hip, the right groin, maybe the right inner thigh. I'm going to take 8 more breaths here. For these 8 breaths, I invite you to make your exhales last a little bit longer than your inhales. So fill up with breath and then gently let the breath go. Maybe you linger at the bottom of your exhale, letting yourself rest on empty for a couple counts, retaining the breath outside of the body. And as the need to inhale becomes a little more obvious, you take your next breath in. Just a few more breaths here. Let this be nice and easy. And then I'm going to have you maintain this exact position. Just come up onto your forearms, and this is going to transition us into our first twist. So your left arm is going to reach underneath the body. So right knee is lifted, left arm threads under, and start to draw your left shoulder in the direction of the right side of your mat. So that from there, you can open your right arm into your first spinal twist, rolling all the way open onto the back. You might notice if you bring the right shoulder down, the left knee lifts. If you let the left knee come down, the right shoulder lifts. No worries. Maybe you thread that left shoulder a little further towards what's now the left edge of the mat. See if that helps you to come into a twist where the knee and shoulder come closer to the mat. If not, again, no worries. It's totally fine for both the knee and the shoulder to be suspended here. You're welcome to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, and come on back to the breath. Think about taking easy but expansive inhales. And as you exhale, just allow yourself to soften a little more. Without forcing this, breath by breath, you may notice the right knee and the right shoulder just get a little bit closer to the mat. You may not notice it on a breath by breath basis, but after a minute or so, you may notice both joints feel a little closer to the mat. If not, no problem, just stay with the breath here. Thinking about filling up in the most gentle, easy way possible. And then nice and easy, letting that breath go. This time thinking about those little ribs on the front side of the rib cage. Feel those ribs widen and expand away from each other. As you breathe here, begin to become a little more aware of the mind. So just notice as the mind gets swept away in thought, is the mind able to keep attention on the breath? And as you watch the breath, you may notice the mind start to wander or one thought come in followed by another thought. Try to notice that without judgment. And if you notice the mind starting to get pulled away, just come back to the breath. Come back to that place of not only observing, but feeling the way the breath and the body interact. And you allow those exhales to facilitate a softening throughout the body here. Softening in the hips, softening throughout the belly, softening the jaw, the shoulders, letting the tongue get a little heavier, letting it fall away from the roof of the mouth. We'll take 5 more breaths like this. And then when you're ready to come out and you may still have a few breaths, that right arm will come over to the long edge of the mat. You'll unwind, come onto your belly, take the legs long behind you. Maybe you stack your palms and just let the forehead rest in the stack of the hands. We invite you to find stillness as you allow your spine to lengthen out here. Spend about a full minute rebounding in stillness, and then I'll offer some gentle movements that might help the spine to feel a little more therapeutic or even out the sensations along the spine before we switch to the other side. Let yourself be still here. If you notice the mind is not still, I invite you to really feel and watch the breath, using the breath to facilitate some quiet in the mind. And then you're welcome to rock the hips side to side. You can rock them side to side with the legs long Might feel good to bend the legs and windshield wiper the legs side to side this way too. Do what feels good here. And then you guessed it, we did one side, so we'll do the other. When you're ready, you'll bring your left knee up, again, about hip height, and then think about reaching that left knee slightly away from you, so towards the wall to your left or to the side of the room to the left. You may notice totally different sensations along the front side of the pelvis here, the inner thigh, the groin. Notice, try not to attach judgment. And just allow yourself, again, to settle back in. Probably not feeling a ton of sensation here. Maybe there's some. Take a nice intro posture where you can just practice being still without all the noise that physical sensation may kick up. Allow the body to soften not only around the pelvis, but also around the shoulders, in the belly. Maybe you want to look for just a little more sensation, and maybe you slide that left knee even further away from you, bringing the left side of the pelvis a little closer to the mat. We'll spend about 5 more breaths here. And then friends, just like we did on the other side, when you're ready, you'll come up onto the forearms. This time you're gonna thread the right arm under, start to slide the right shoulder to what's now the left side of the mat, so that you can take that left arm up and over and find a twist on the left side. Again, being mindful that the knee may not come down, the shoulder may not come down, and that's totally fine. Making any little maneuvers to find the twist of your liking, to find the sensation of your liking. Unless you really feel called to cushion under the knee or cushion under the shoulder, I'm going to encourage you to go without the props and just allow the body to eventually get a little closer to the mat. Let gravity do its magic as you focus on holding in stillness, taking deep breaths in through the nose, really filling up through the front of the body in a super gentle, nourishing way. And then using the exhales to facilitate the body softening and surrendering a little more deeply into the pose. Easy inhales, even easier exhales. Can you find the sweetness in the breath? The gentle expansion of the inhales, the soft letting go with the exhales. Staying aware of the mind. If it's going off to what happened earlier today or what you need to do next or tomorrow, just come back right here, right now. Come into the body. Feel the felt sensations of the body. Notice the way the breath and body interact. Maybe you even check a level deeper into the body, noticing, are there any emotions that feel extra prevalent? Softening, giving yourself space to feel those. Let's take 5 more breaths here. And maybe you just notice the space between the left shoulder and the mat, the left knee and the mat. Maybe that space has decreased since we first came into the posture, maybe not, which is also totally fine. Just noticing, no judgment. And then when you're ready to come out, that left arm will come back over top. You'll make your way onto your belly, reach the legs long, and let yourself lengthen out, coming into stillness. Noticing the sensations in the body as you hold this super neutral position. Allow yourself to feel into the body, to observe without reacting. Stay in the stillness. And then maybe you rock the hips side to side. Maybe you bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs. And then we're going to come next into a back bend. If you have a blanket or a bolster, you may want to keep that towards the top of the mat, and you're going to want to fold the blanket the long way so that it is about the width of your mat. And then once you've folded it the long way, I'll encourage you to fold it again. You may need more than one blanket. So we're going to come into Sphinx pose, which is just a very mild back bend, compression in the low back, opening through the front of the spine. You can make that compression a little greater by elevating onto a blanket or two blankets or a bolster or pillows. So in this posture, your elbows are just slightly forward of the shoulders. Once you've got the upper body set up, you'll want to reach back through the lower body to create a little bit more space in the front side of the pelvis. And then think about relaxing through the glutes. Head can be heavy here. And in this posture, I'll invite you to emphasize your inhales. Really think about breathing into the front of the body. Maybe you envision your heart space rising, widening, expanding. And then as you exhale, the shoulders will get a little softer, the glutes get more relaxed to increase the compression in the low back. If you want more sensation, then maybe you wait a little bit longer to go there just to get deeper into the posture. But should you want more sensation, you can straighten the arms here. Hands will be about 12 to 16 inches in front of the shoulders. Arms are straight. Again, head can be heavy, shoulders are soft. And especially if you come up, check in with the glutes. Can you relax through your glutes here? We're going to be here for 3 minutes. So again, maybe you don't come all the way up to seal right away, but instead you spend a little more time in Sphinx and then slowly ease up. Whether you're down in Sphinx or up in seal, we're still working with those deep but easy breaths in, expansive, emphasized inhales, allowing for that softening, that surrendering as you exhale. Whether you're in Sphinx or seal, every 5 breaths or so, I encourage you to check in with the glutes. This is a posture where I find, despite my best efforts to keep the glutes relaxed, the tension inevitably creeps in. So just check in and soften. Stay with the sensation, stay with the breath. Unless you're feeling pain, try not to back out of the shape. We're going to take 5 more breaths here. Let's make these really expansive breaths in. Super gentle exhale. And then, my friends, when you're ready to come out, just gently make your way back down to the belly. Let everything be long. And just rest in the support of your mat. Nice long spine here. Heavy forehead, heavy hips. You want to rock the hips gently side to side. Now might be a good time to do that. Same thing if you want to bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs. Just notice how the spine feels different or the same as the last time you made these gentle movements. And then we're going to come back for a child's pose. You have some choice in this one. So option to take the knees together, sit the hips straight back, and let the spine round over the legs. You're going to feel this more in the part of the back that just had lots of compression in your sphincter seal, or you can take the knees to the width of the mat and come in between the thighs for a wide-legged child's pose. You're going to feel that more in the hips. So just decide what feels intuitively more inviting for you in this moment. And then just allow yourself to take shape. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes. So as always, try to come to your shape and then resolve to remain still. 5 more super easy breaths here. Long, easy exhales. And when you're ready, slowly bring yourself up. And we're going to come onto our side for cat pulling its tail. So we're going to come to our left side first. Arrange yourself however you need to be lying on the left side so that you're parallel with the long edge of the mat. You may want to be slightly closer to the front edge of the mat. So for this posture, we're going to start by lifting the top leg up like old school aerobics, and then you're going to reach the leg long so it's more or less perpendicular with your mat. And you want to think about reaching the pinky toe side of the feet down as much as possible. That's going to give you maybe some stretch in this top hip, the top IT band. No worries if it doesn't feel great to reach the foot down on the pinky toe side. Then top arm is going to take hold of the bottom shin or ankle, and you get to decide how far to bring the knee back. The more you bring that knee back, the more sensation you're going to get in that bottom quad, maybe even up into the hip flexor. So take the knee back as far as you want. If this feels really sensational and you don't want to go any deeper, this can be your posture right here. If you do want to take it deeper, you can bring that bottom shoulder a little bit further towards that front long edge of the mat, and you can bring yourself down into a twist. Likely that the right shoulder will be slightly elevated, no problem. Maybe it makes its way down in time, maybe it doesn't. You can place your left hand on your IT band. Maybe that helps keep you in that IT band stretch. And you can keep working that bottom knee back behind you. Maybe that gives you a little more quad stretch on the bottom. So cat pulling its tail, option to come into this twist, or option to stay in the aerobics, what I call the 80s aerobics posture. Your choice here. And then we just come back to the breath. I'll encourage you to emphasize the inhales here. Really think about sending the breath down into the belly. Really expand through the front side of the body. And again, just let your body melt down into the mat. Soften and surrender to gravity as you exhale. If you're able to stay aware of the mind, bring yourself back to the breath if you notice the mind wandering. Maybe you notice the sensation in the quad or hip flexor of that bottom leg starting to dissipate. Maybe you work that knee a little further back. We're going to take 5 more breaths here. Expansive inhales, long, slow exhales. And then to come out of this, when you're ready, you'll release the bottom leg, and then once again, just make your way onto the belly. Let everything be long. And then you're welcome just to roll over onto the other side. You can simply roll onto the right side, or if you need to turn around to face the computer, you're welcome to do that. You'll find yourself lying on the right side, long with your front edge of the mat. The top leg will lift, reach in front of you, press the pinky toe side of the foot down if you are so inclined, and then top arm, take hold of bottom shin or ankle, work that knee back to your liking. Option to be here, or option to nudge that right shoulder a little further forward to come into your twist on this side. It's a twist with a slight back bend. You may notice the sensations are totally different on this side. No judgment. Just observe. Come back to the body. Both observe by feeling, by listening to the interaction between the breath and the body. Again, stay aware of the sensation. especially in that bottom leg. If it starts to go away and you want more sensation, work that bottom leg further away from you. Easy, expansive breaths in here. Long, gentle exhales. Taking just another handful of breaths. And then when you're ready to come out, this time you're going to come onto your back. You're just gently going to unwind onto the back. Take the feet wide and windshield wiper the legs side to side on your back as you arrive. Getting ready to come into Shavasana, you might want to hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Happy baby for a moment might feel good. If you take happy baby, you can gently rock side to side in this shape. Taking any final movements so that you can completely release on your back. Coming into Shavasana, as you're ready, you're welcome to place a blanket or a bolster under the knees. I also like to lay a blanket or bolster over the hips to weigh down the hips. Allowing yourself to lengthen out, allowing the whole body to melt into the support of the mat and any props underneath you here. Can you let go of any control over the breath and just allow yourself to breathe freely in the same way that your body knows how to when you're sleeping? Maybe you feel the belly rise and feel the belly fall without any effort on your part. Without changing anything, let's begin to become a little more aware of the breath again. Notice the rise of your inhales, the fall of the exhales. And then gradually make each inhale just a little bit bigger than the one before. As you're ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe you start to roll ankles and wrists. You can reach arms overhead and reach the legs away from you. And then let's come to fetal position on whichever side of the body feels more inviting in this moment. Let the bottom arm cradle the head. And then keeping the eyes closed and keeping the torso heavy like a rag doll. Use your top arm to help bring you up to a comfortable seat. Allowing the hands to gently rest on the knees, on the thighs. Eyes are closed. With each inhale, visualize the head just rising a little taller as the shoulders get a little softer with each exhale. Feeling the length of your spine, the suppleness of your spine here. And then shifting your attention to your heart space. With each breath in, feel the space around your heart rising, expanding. And then with each exhale, feel the heart space get a little softer. Maybe calling to mind something that went well today, something that made you happy, something that you're grateful for. And just holding that in your heart as you take these easy but expansive breaths. Maybe you call to mind the intention or dedication that you set at the beginning of your practice. And maybe you have an intention or dedication that you'd like to set for the rest of your evening. Perhaps it's as simple as resolving to take this gentle energy with you as you move through the rest of the night. Bringing the hands to meet in front of the heart, we'll seal this practice in by taking a deep breath together, breathing in through the nose, holding the breath at the top of the inhale, and then letting that breath go however seems most fitting for you. Bowing the forehead down to the hands, in gratitude to this practice. Together we bow. Namaste. Thank you so much, ladies. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You're welcome to come off mute or